The Ghost Inside dropped a new album, Searching for Solace.
I enjoyed this record. We spoke about it with Earn It because people were getting all torn up and all upset because they had gone soft. They were going Octane. Oh no, I don't know. I liked Earn It. I don't give a shit. I mean, people clearly didn't like that song when I saw them because the crowd went mild for that song.
Shit.
But all the other songs, the crowd went wild.
Yeah.
So people, the reception of that song was definitely negative. But that was like your very standard, this is what it's going to be, like that. What this song is trying to accomplish. Death Grip, had some riffs, had some headbanging moments, was heavy. And I think that those two sides of the coin, just in those two singles alone, kind of showcases what this record is. There's definitely an octane core tinge to the record. There's a lot of big choruses, riffs, all that shit, like sounds like shit you would hear on Octane. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I for one enjoy it.
You are an Octane enjoyer.
Not all the time. Like there's times where I'm like I'm good. I want to go listen to something else, but I enjoy it from time to time. But this album also has enough heavy moments for me, and not to mention I also enjoy Octane Core, where I've been digging this record a lot. I've been listening to it. This was my album of choice, funnily enough, over the weekend that I was checking out in between familiarizing myself extra well with the Attila set list. So I've been enjoying this record a lot. I think that it's a good blend between the two. I do think that there's some moments on here for the old fans, although those same fans would have to get through the songs that they're complaining about to get to those moments, which is upsetting for them. But I enjoyed the record. I've been having a blast with it. Honestly, hearing this record for the first time, I was like, that was kind of what was like, maybe I will go see this band live, because I've always enjoyed their music. Never, I've seen them a couple of times, never really checked them out outside of that. So I'm familiar with, the big songs that they play live, but I was like, I heard this record and I was like, it's just like, it blew me away the first time I heard it. I don't know. But yeah, I've been fucking with it.
Good. I'm happy to hear you. I mean, you were sitting with this album for the whole weekend. So that's great. I did like this record. I'm going to start off with that. Is it my favorite record that has come out this year? I don't think so. I do agree that I do think that there is a good balance, or they're getting there with the balance of that kind of octane core, which is such a funny fucking genre. It's just fucking metal that isn't super heavy. It's more palatable.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
I hate using that term because it's like it's so negative, but like when we talk about it, it's not a negative term because we both enjoy that style of music.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's also, shouldn't radios be like the goal, because that means your band is successful?
Maybe a little bit.
So it's like, why are we putting that down? Yeah. Anyways, so I do think that they are getting there with that kind of balance of octane core with also still some moments where it's heavier for the older fans or for the metalheads or whatever the hell you want to call them. I do think that they were a little heavy-handed with the octane core, and they could have definitely woven in some more heavy bits, more like heavier breakdowns, heavy riffs, just more of that. That's because it's like we're fucking switching spots right now, because now I'm like, I want more heavy. When before, like 2 years ago, I was like, boo, heavy. I can't do
I like
this.
The drums.
Like literally. But now I want more heavy stuff. So I feel like if this was released 2 years ago, for me, if this was released 2 years ago, I would have been so all over this, because it feels like kind of like that gateway album where it's like, if you listen to this, it's the stepping stone for heavier stuff. But I feel like because I'm already kind of past that point, I'm already like, I just want heavier, give me heavier.
Yeah.
So in that context, if I was listening to this 2 years ago before I got into metal, I think this record be fucking immaculate. But because personally I prefer heavier stuff now, it's not quite hitting that spot for me. I do still think it's a great record. I think it has great moments. But I do feel like it's just tilted a little more to the octane side, which isn't as satisfying for me, but I still do think it's good.
Yeah, it definitely is leaning a little bit more on that because,
Yeah.
but you know, I don't mind a big chorus in a metal song. I don't
Yeah.
mind the standard breakdown in the middle of the song after this
Yeah.
part, and I
You
don't
could
mind.
tell it's
Yeah, I
coming.
don't mind that structure in a song because
Yeah.
it gives me familiarity even when I don't know the song.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
yeah, that is one thing that I've caught on to listening to the record more is there are more of those moments than maybe I initially noticed on the
Mm.
first listen, but I've been fucking with it nonetheless. I like the way it opens with Going Under. Big fan of Earn It and Death Grip, Wrath, Reckoning. I could go on and on. Really been enjoying this record. Wish that they were playing more off of it on the tour supporting the record, but
Oh,
that's okay. Their old music's good too, and I think the crowd would stand there and look at them weird if they played too much of this album. I'm gonna be honest. So just based on the reception of the singles.
that shit pisses me off so bad. It's not on them,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, because you got to play what people are going to show up for.
Yeah.
And if you saw that there's already negative reception with the singles, or people just aren't giving as much energy towards the singles for the album, obviously you're not going to
Play the
like
deep
fucking
cuts.
overload. Exactly, overload the fucking set list with the album. But it's just so frustrating because I go to album tours to hear that album because
Mhm.
it's that tour where it's like, oh, you're probably not gonna hear this shit on like a regular set list after this tour. But it's like, damn, if you're not even playing like a lot of the album, why even call it that tour for that album? Like
Yeah.
I went like 3 weeks. Like Don Broco's fucking Amazing Things tour, they barely played fucking Amazing Things.
Yeah.
Like they played a lot of technology.
Mhm.
And that shit, seeing it, pissed me off because I was like, dude, technology's been out for fucking ages. You can play fucking Revenge Body or whatever the fuck. They just played that for the first time live like last year, and the record's been out for 3 years now.
Mhm.
So it's just like when bands do that, it's just so frustrating because it's like I'm paying to see the album or a tour set list that's front loaded or just loaded up with this album. I'm sorry, fuck the fans. Play the fucking
Well,
album.
I just think that there
That's me
should
though.
be set
That's
list
me.
staples, and then it doesn't have to be the full record, but a healthy
Mm-hmm.
dose of that album, and be like, if you enjoyed the record, this is your time to come see us play it, because the next time we tour, once the album's been out for a year and a half, is going to be the
We won't be playing it.
standard quote unquote set list. The hits.
Yeah, we'll take 1 and 2 and put them on the set list and make them reoccurring. We'll make those staples
Yeah.
versus it's it's just it pisses me off so bad, genuinely.